I see now.
That's the special announcement is Ciampa and Gargano are going to be part of WrestleMania.
That'd be fucking awesome. Put it on the second night of the card, even if it's the curtain jerker for the second night. I think that'd be great.
All right. So breaking news, the Performance Center has been hit with the people of the county are now being told blah, 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 blah. Where WrestleMania is being taped in Orlando, Florida, there will be a stay-at-home order for 2 weeks.
Imagine being a hardcore wrestling fan living in that part of Florida, knowing they're having WrestleMania, and they just tell you, stay home, freak out.
Thursday night, the stay-at-home order begins tomorrow night at 11 p.m., so they got enough time, I guess, to finish up WrestleMania 36.
I wonder how many wrestling fans are going to get arrested for not staying at home.
They have already taped SmackDown 205, NXT, and the first post-WrestleMania edition of Raw. What happens following WrestleMania 36 remains to be seen.
Wow. Boo.
So after the first week of WrestleMania, if this shit isn't figured out, guess what? No more WWE. WWE goes on hiatus just like everybody else.
They take an off season for once. Something.
What does that mean for AEW? Well, we'll figure that out in the AEW episode. Let's go back to what we were previously talking about.
Tell yourself, calm down, killer.
That's exactly what I just did. You seen that, huh? You heard that? All right, so let's go back. Some more WWE stuff. Dana Brooke is being sent home by the WWE to be quarantined. Well, we wish the best for Dana Brooke. We hope that she gets cleared up and she gets sent back to work as soon as possible. 14 days, I guess, is what is required of you. So.
I want to give my condolences to Dave Bautista. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, yeah, no smash, bro.
What?
He can't smash for 2 weeks.
Who said he was smashing to begin with? We know he's in love with her.
Dave Bautista is in love with her?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a thing?
It's been a thing for a while, man.
All right, well, like I said, he can't smash for at least 2 weeks.
I don't know.
All right. Fallout from a little bit. Let's talk about yesterday's Dark Side of the Ring debut. That was a great episode. You get to see a little bit of Chris Jericho and how he feels. It looks like he was really just fighting back tears throughout the whole episode. Just really hard for him to talk about, even though he can't. I mean, he does his own episodes of this kind of stuff on his show. And it's just a big thing, the Chris Benoit stuff, and we don't like to talk about it. But one of the interesting...
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you like to talk about it. But one of the interesting things, the fallout from that, is that Dave Benoit, Chris Benoit's son, surviving son, says that Vince McMahon never called him and said that Chris Jericho and Chavo were the only people that were really there for him in the wrestling business throughout his growing up, and
his mourning and all that.
I know he's. From what I understand, he's a pro wrestler now. I don't know if he's still pro. He
wants to wrestle under Chris Jr. And personally, not the best of ideas, but if you want to carry on your father's honor, you go right ahead, bro.
So,
AEW is all about equality to the point where they had Nyla Rose win the women's championship. Maybe they let you wrestle under that name, and it doesn't completely backfire. But we'll see. Not holding my breath.
So he said, as far as did the documentary give him any closure, he said, I let 13 years of pain go away when I sat there in front of that camera. I let it all out, and it felt like, and after he felt like a new man. It's just a lot of cool stuff, I really want you guys to go out and watch The Dark Side of the Ring. It's on Vice. Find out if your cable provider or your satellite provider has Vice, and if they don't, find somebody who does, because this stuff is definitely worth.
I saw a lot of people on the internet saying it was emotional. They were basically crying the whole time. I know last year Stockton Con, when Angle and Vicky and Chavo were all there, I met Chavo and I wanted to ask him, but I didn't want to be that douche either, so I kind of just kept my mouth shut.
On whether or not he wants to wrestle, it says, yes, I want to wrestle. I just don't know where to go. I've been looking. So he doesn't really know where his destination, where he feels like he would be at home as far as a wrestler goes. That's just me putting a little extra emphasis on it. That's not exactly what he said, but that's just what I got out of that. But there you go. He said that the big thing to take out of that is that Vince said that he didn't really think that, or he didn't, Vince never reached out to him, never said anything to him.
I mean, Vince pretends Chris never existed to begin with. So he pretends the 2004 Royal Rumble never happened.
Arn Anderson's moving on. Let's move on. Vince. All right, moving forward. Because this is a long kind of thing. We could get into all kinds of shit talking about that, but I want to save that episode for like October, like I was talking about a while ago.
No problem.
This week on Arn Anderson's podcast, I guess with Arn Anderson's podcast with Conrad Thompson, he said that WrestleMania 31, that we can all look back and wannabes, and I'm a guy who thinks Taker should still be riding the wave of his undefeated streak. You only get one crack at some stuff. Sting being the last holdout would have been nice. If Sting would have came across when WCW was done, and if he was pushed like the star that he was. Arn gave an interesting tidbit about the Sting and Triple H match from that show. Sting was the last major name from WCW to sign with WWE, so his first and only WrestleMania appearance was a huge deal to fans, but WWE seemed to focus more on the WCW versus WWE aspect of the storyline, even though Vince McMahon bought WCW 14 years before this show. So we're talking about WrestleMania 31. They had the right idea in possibly having to start over and start wrestling. If I was sitting in the back and I'm going, okay, they just had the ladder match and they just had Randy's match with a pretty incredible finish. Got to settle the fans a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to get to the part because there's a part of here that says that they wanted to bury Sting.
Commentary.
During,
was told to.
You heard about this?
Yeah, that's stupid shit. When we talked to Sting, we probably should have asked him about that. I mean, I think I asked him about the buckle bomb, and of course he, like a class act, said
you heard about this already?
Yeah, just a couple days ago about this, where the commentators were told to bury him. But of course, when we met him, I asked him about the Seth Rollins buckle bomb, and of course he's humble and he's a class act or whatnot, so he didn't blame Seth. He said, "Oh, that's my own fault. I didn't land right." No, Balor's was his own fault. That's why he got a separated fucking shoulder. But that's just my opinion on that.
I might have to go listen to this interview just because I don't like what I'm reading here and I don't want to put out false.
Interview, you're going to end up pissing yourself off even more. It's just a rumor. The commentary probably did get told to bury Sting because Vince probably still had that fresh in his mind, even though it was 14 years old. He was the last one to hold out. It was an ego thing. That's my opinion.
I can't believe this made news. Jim Cornette finally joins the WWE network. That's stupid. Oh. So here's some backstage new rumors and innuendo. Rumors and innuendo. If you ever listen to this guy's Conrad Thompson's podcast, which is a really good podcast. I just laugh at his accent, though.
Yeah.
Which he probably laughs at mine, too. He's like, why's that guy talk like that? Rumors and innuendo. Baszler and Lynch to headline the first night of WrestleMania, and Drew McIntyre and
Brock Lesnar
to headline the second night. That's what the rumors and innuendo are. So that would be cool because then Baszler and Lynch get the the women, ladies first. Ladies get to finish. They get to do it first.
Blah, blah. Shayna Baszler better win. And take her 1,000 times out of 1,000 over Ronda Rousey.
Drew McIntyre said that it should be Edge and Randy Orton.
For the first night?
Yeah.
No, I think that's calling them both the ultimate mid-carders.
Or that they're saying
they're both over 10-time world champions. If anything, at the worst, unless it's another title match, they should be the co-main event. So, of the second night.
They're saying Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. They could do that, go at it that way.
Does it really matter what's the main event at this point or not? Because they pre-taped it. Vince literally gets to pick what the main event is. He puts it on in whatever order he wants every time, but this time he has more time to just organize it the way he wants.
So there we go. There's some pretty good, I think, pretty fair amount of WWE stuff. Let's see if there's any more news in the headlines here. Well, that was a great show. I don't think there's anything else to look at. I mean, as far as that goes, things to watch. You're all stuck at home. We talked about it. Go watch Dark Side of the Ring. I believe that is the name of the show. If not, I'm sorry. I'll look it up and I'll post it on the fan page on Facebook. By the way, while I have everybody right now, go to the fan page on Facebook, like it. That's where most of our news falls out of our fan page. It's easy, B2J the podcast. Just go there, and then what else? I mean, watch Dark Side of the Ring. Why don't you tell us what you're watching? Movies. We don't really care what kind of porn you're watching, to be honest. But tell us what you're watching during this
with no sports
Corona-cation.
whatsoever. Wrestling is literally the only
dream of
only thing still going.
Corona-cation.
Wow, you went there.
Dream of California Corona-cation. Oh.
So the only other big thing in WWE I could think of is, like I said, I've heard rumors of Sports Center or Fox airing WrestleMania.
Well, that would be cool. And that's
Free
probably
for everybody.
I'm sure it's going to be a thing, especially this